Let's look at configuring QSDA authentication when a QSDA Enterprise license is active. When an enterprise license is applied, you must configure at least one authentication method for QSDA. This is authentication to log into QSDA. This is not the connection to the Qlik server. Configure the QSDA authentication option using the Control Panel Configure dialog in the UI Security section. You could choose between Windows or Qlik Server authentication, or both. I'm going to start with Windows, which is Windows pass-through using Active Directory user IDs. I also recommend checking on dynamic users, which will allow users to be entered into the QSDA user database automatically. If you don't check that on, you'll have to add them manually. Click OK. You get a message that a service restart is required. Let's stop and start the QSDA services. Once the services have restarted, I'll refresh my QSDA page. And I'll see that I now can continue normally with the Analyze screen. I am logged in as user Rob. If I go to the admin page, Users and Security, I can see that this user has been added and has the role both user and administrator. Let's simulate logging in with another user. I'll use an incognito window. And in this case, I'll log in with the Windows user Sally. Note that I'm now logged in as Sally. And if I return to my other user, which is Rob, and refresh the Manage User screen, I'll see here that Sally has been added to the QSDA users database. Notice that Sally is not an administrator, she is just a user. And I can edit this if I wanted to and make Sally the administrator by checking that on and saving it. You must have at least one administrator. Another option for login security is using Qlik Servers instead of or in addition to Windows. So let's go back to the Control Panel Config screen, User Security, and enable Qlik Server authentication. I'm going to click OK. Notice that I'm adding a security authentication method. I do not have to restart the services. What I do need to do is make sure that at least one of my Qlik servers is configured as a QSDA logon server. So I do this in the connection style, local server, the one I have called local server, which is using a certificate connection. And if you check on the for login, this will enable this for login, and you must install the logon extension using this button. This will install an extension in the Qlik server used for the logon. The test process will check that the login extension is correctly configured. I'm going to click Save. And now I'm going to log out of here. And go ahead and try to analyze as a user. And now in this case, I'm going to get a choice of which logon method to use. So Windows or local server. I'm going to select the local server, which is a Qlik server. It's going to go through the login process. I will go through whatever login process is used for that Qlik server, in this case Windows, and I'm logged in. Okay. If there's only one login method, Windows or a single Qlik server, this user won't see that selection dialog. They'll just pass through. And that's all there is to configuring user security.